welcome. Our special guest of the evening has already arrived, and we are here to kind of get inspired by Saran Chatterjee. And what makes Saran special in my life personally, I think he is the one who hired me into Flipkart. Saran,
Hello, hi everybody.
hey Saran. So good to see you, Saran.
So
How are
good
you
to be
doing?
here. Thank you for inviting me here.
No, absolutely. It's a pleasure. And Saran comes with such a rich experience, folks. Like he's worked across some of the top companies that you would have heard about. He's been at Yahoo. He's been the CEO of Housejoy, has led consumer product at Flipkart back in the day. And very recently, he was running at Google, the Google Pay consumer product, right? So we all use Google Pay. So if you've enjoyed kind of making those transactions on Google Pay, this is the person who was kind of running it behind the scenes. So glad to have you, Saran. So tell us about your product journey. How did you land up in product, and you've built out an entire career in product and gone on to become kind of a CEO as well? How did that happen?
So my background is obviously engineering. Started off my career in hardcore engineering. And when I was an engineer, you're stuck in the cube, and I would look at all these business guys. I was in a enterprise company, a telecom company,
Right.
and they were product managers. But the definition of a product manager in a enterprise telecom company is different from a kind of product managers in digital companies. And I would see them, and they would be interacting with customers. They had such amazing outside-in view, and essentially they would tell us. I mean, I was an engineer, and they would tell us what to do, and I hated that. I didn't like it. The fact that I couldn't hear it directly from the customer, and that somebody was telling me, and it was like I was almost trusting that person. I was like, I got to do what that guy is doing, which is how do I get out there. And that was the genesis of my journey to cut over to product management. So I was lucky that I was able to do that in the company that I was in. But then telecom, wasn't as exciting. So consumer internet was the thing back in the day. I'm talking 2003, 2004. I mean, Yahoo was, for at least me and sort of, a lot of other people, Yahoo was the internet back in the day.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Absolutely.
yeah. So I think, that was one of the dream companies. So got in there, and really that was my foray. I think, but what inspired me was how do I kind of really be close to the customer and really understand their needs and then build from there.
Fantastic. Fantastic. And you've been in kind of product for almost 2 decades now, right? Or have been closely associated with product. So how have you seen that change in the world of product?
Massive amounts of change, right? When I was kind of going through my product journey at Yahoo, the product management was much more evolved as a function, as a role, in the US. I was lucky to be close to a lot of good product managers and actually learning and seeing them. And one thing I did see over time that the good ones back in the day, just that structured thinking and just being able to kind of break down problems very easily and being able to articulate problems, right, or opportunities or requirements. I mean, that's what stood out for me. Just the good ones just were very clear what they were building, and they were able to articulate that. And then from there, when I came to India, this is 2010. Over the last 2 decades, right? I mean, the number of people now that can actually articulate what they are building, who they are building for, why they are building, and what they're building, that articulation has improved like many fold. Right? For me, that is core. I mean, clearly there are a lot of product managers, but at the end of the day, each of you that you have to question yourself is, as you're going through your journey and as you're thinking of this career, right? I mean, keep in mind that, everybody's looking at you. The engineers are going to be looking at you. The cross-functional team is looking at you. So can you articulate what you're doing, why you're doing really well? And I think that thought process has evolved dramatically amidst obviously other things.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Saran. And just going back to the Flipkart days, Saran, just reminiscing those old days back in 2014 when I kind of joined in, and I was really amazed by the team you had put together. So I'm very curious to know, when you are actually hiring product folks, right? What are the core things that you look for when you're trying to get people into your team?
My first goal really was, I mean, when I was hiring, right? I mean, it was very clear to me that one, I needed product managers as a proxy for experience, right? Were people who had good kind of, just first principles. When I say first principles, right? I mean, I mean, ownership was a basic requirement. So we were looking for people that had kind of these startup type experiences, because startup really teaches you, because it is your problem essentially, right? So people with high ownership, and in addition to that, I think we were looking for just problem solving, analytical skills. That's about it. Like for instance, one of our team members, right? He was a venture capitalist. And the reason we got him into the team, the reason I liked him was his analytical skills were just amazing. So, and I felt that he would be a fantastic PM for search, right? I mean, it required a lot of this analysis and working with engineering and things like that. You know, and the reason we liked you and we kind of chased you for 2 years, Arindam, was because you unique mix, right? You know, one was obviously your background itself, but the startup experience that you had, right? We were really treasuring that. You know very well, 2014, 2015, they were highly ambiguous environment, very fluid, like things kind of moving around, and you had to kind of really find your bearings in there and do your thing and kind of hold on to whatever you could hold on to, right? It's a lot more structured today, thanks to the team that has evolved and become but back in the day, boy, was it hard. We needed people that could thrive in that ambiguity, that could hold their own. And for me, that was the basic thing. Can he stand his ground in front of an engineering leader, in front of a business leader? Can he hold his own? Can he have a right discussion? Can he have the right debates? And hold and keep the product flag flying high. That was
Sure. No, I still remember, Saran, you know, like, and this is something which I've practiced with my own team members as well. He said, like, ये onboarding होते रहेगा, but the best way to learn and get your hands dirty is place an order on Flipkart and track your order through all the systems, and you will get to know all the systems, right? And that was such a fantastic way for me to learn, right? And I actually went there and did that and placed an order, and I kept tracking and moved from team to team to see where my order was, and trying to understand which system my order was moving through, and just opened my eyes, like, oh, like this is a fantastic way to actually get your hands dirty and go ahead and learn, right? I think, thank you so much for doing that back in the day. But what I hear you saying and talking about the ownership mindset, the structured thinking, the clarity of thought, right? Someone who can deal with ambiguity and someone who is very articulate in their communication skills, because that's what people would be looking at you for. Any piece of advice, Saran, that you would want to give folks who are trying to kind of get into product?
You know, the reason I want to excite you about product, right? Because it truly is a very unique skill set. What you have to do is being able to really apply that and use it in your day-to-day job, whether you're in engineering, whether you're in product. The good thing about product is you can practice these skills. You don't have to have the title of a product manager to start with to start doing this, right? So my one recommendation is whatever skills you learn, make sure that you're able to apply that in whatever role, right? And I can assure you that the good product managers, right, in due course, are essentially nothing but true leaders of companies, right? You will either go found something of your own, or you will essentially be the CEO of a company. And there's proof, right? Every single, I won't say every single, but most of the product leaders in Flipkart, like Arindam is one example here, they've all gone on and founded companies, right? It's because you're responsible for all aspects of a business, right? It's not just about that product and its requirements, right? You have to think about everything. You have to adopt that mindset that, you know, it is you are the fulcrum of the company.
Right.
And when you take that ownership upon yourself, and when you take that upon yourself, amazing things will happen.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Saran. And as you said, and as you guys heard from Saran also, application of the learning is the biggest element here. But one question which I want to throw it at you, Saran, what is the most exciting challenge that you've faced in your career?
The most challenging one of all the challenges I've faced, right, is the one at HouseJoy, actually. And I'll tell you why. You know, after Yahoo and Flipkart, you know, with all the bravado that I had, I felt, you know, startup would be a breeze. You know, I would just walk into it. It was a very, you know, it was a space I was passionate about, and I would go, you know, I felt that I could easily build it. We had tremendous investor support. Access to capital wasn't a problem. We were putting a decent team together. So everything was in the right place. And in HouseJoy, what happened was we were in a very unique situation in 20. So we started the company in 2015. in 2017, 2018, we were in a very unique situation where essentially we were sort of at a decision point. Either we shut down the company or we do an M&A, right? But investors had basically given up. Imagine the situation here. And here, you as a leader are sitting there, and for me, shutting down, or I did try M&A, but we were not getting like good options, right? So for me, shutting down wasn't an option at all. Like it was just like I just felt that there was no way in hell I was going to shut it down, right? And this is where I'll tell you the link to product now. So now, unique situation. Okay, what are we going to do? Great, we have 8 months of runway. We have to come up with a different business plan. We can't be doing home services because that boat has sailed. Urban companies doing really well there. They raised a ton of money, so we can't be in that game. And that is where your product thinking kicks in, right? We first went to the drawing board and said, what are the white spaces? Where are the opportunities here which are adjacent to what House is doing?
Right. Yeah.
We looked at different things, and believe it or not, we came upon through problem solving. We said we have to be something adjacent. We came upon individual home construction as the idea. Like home construction for consumers. Like we would help build their homes. And at that point, it was basically an assumption. And we were surprised that there actually was a large market opportunity because we pulled data on how many architectural plans are getting registered, how much land is getting registered, and everything proved to be favorable. But then we said, but why will customers come to us? So then we had to go and do a customer validation. So then we went and checked. Thankfully, we had access to customers through our home services business. We got about 1,500 customers who were actually looking to build their own home. So and then we sat with them and understood, like, what would it take? Like, if we had to, like, why would you come to HouseJoy to build your home versus going to a contractor? And we got like tremendous input in terms of what their core problems were. And we were able to take the market opportunity that we did before. We took the problems that we identified of customers, and we took those two and said, look, we could actually build a meaningful product here. And we came up with that. We took that business plan to the investors saying, look, we're not going to do home services anymore. We will continue it, but not at scale. What we will rather do is we're going to pivot the whole company to home construction. And that was the start where we had to build from scratch a fully tech-driven platform where we were kind of managing this whole individual home construction for customers. And we were also building a full materials marketplace around. And what that did after we launched in 2018, January, over the next 12 months, pre-COVID, that business just scaled beautifully, just in 3-4 cities.
Fantastic.
And we became profitable. And, at least we were not dependent on funds, right, to sustain the company. So the business was profitable, it was self-sustaining.
Right.
And for me, that turnaround, for me, the gratification here was I didn't shut it down. I stuck to my guns. I didn't give up hope. We were able to turn this thing around, and at least that company lives today to fight another fight. Right? For me, that is gratifying.
Boy, that's such an amazing story, and thank you so much for sharing that, Saran. So very inspirational as well, and you tying it back to the process that product managers go through. That's such a critical process. Once you have that mindset, pretty much kind of knowingly, unknowingly, you will go through that process again and again, right? Exactly. And that's the power of this process. So thank you so much for sharing that. It was wonderful having you, and thanks for inspiring them as they move on this journey.
Thank you, Arindam. Thanks for having me, and good luck to all of you as you go through this journey and be the amazing product managers that you all are aspiring to be. Good luck. Bye.
Thank you.
When we started out as PMs, the meme used to be the PM is the mini CEO of the product.